that this video will be recorded and then uploaded to our YouTube channel, but I think only the voice will be uploaded because it's kind of like easier and more convenient, right? Like a podcast style. So, well, right now I think it is being recorded. Yes. So as I have said, right, guys, today's meeting is dedicated to, English outside the classroom. And now I want, our participants to share their stories about how they use English, what is their experience of using that besides the class, besides the subject as it is. Yes. So welcome. Anyone who would like to begin?
May I start?
Yes.
So, okay, let's introduce myself at first.
Yeah.
I'm your student, and I'm studying in the second grade. And yes, and for the answer for your question, like how I use English in my daily life is, so to be honest, I don't really like use, I think, because I can sing songs in English. I may sing songs while working or while doing my house chores, but at home or outside, I'm not using it at all, except university and my extra classes that I have. And even there, I'm not speaking. I'm just sitting silent and I'm just answering for some questions, and that's all. Yes.
Okay. Now let's talk about this because it's important to I think it's important to change it. Yeah. So Malika, you have said to us that most of the time you use your English when it is kind of necessary, right?
Yes, when necessary in some places, and that's all.
Yeah. And most of the time when we are students, and I was also like that, when I started my studies, it was a long time ago, I think 2009. Yes, I also was like that. And then I realized something, that it's kind of boring, to be honest, to use English only in the classroom. Yes, it's interesting from the point of view of a learner, but it's boring from the point of view of just a person who sometimes sits and asks himself, herself, like, why do I do this? Do I do this only just to know it as a subject, or do I do this because I really enjoy doing that? And it's important to, I think, keep that in mind, that we need to enjoy stuff that we do. And I think that I will not be making a mistake if I say that you really enjoy English, because if you didn't, then you wouldn't do all the tasks and your assignments. And even if you, did this task, you could say like, okay, we do this because we have assignments, but I think it's quite visible when you enjoy the assignments or not, right? And it's obvious that you do enjoy assignments that you are given, meaning that you really enjoy English itself. So let me show you a few examples on how I use English outside the class, because I do really use it a lot, and it helps me in many different situations. So I will be right now sharing the screen with you guys, and let's take a look at it. So you see, this is my blog that I no longer, keep it. It's just like an archive, okay? But I used to keep this blog when I used to draw more, and this is the page from it. And if you go somewhere, for example, like here, right? So this is the artwork that I made a long time ago, based on the character from Star Wars. So, and then, I write a caption for it. And why I'm writing in English? Because I want international audience to be exposed to my works. And of course, when you use English here, it is just, it serves as lingua franca. It serves as, something that everybody can understand and communicate, etc. And there were like times, especially before, when some other artist reached out to me and commented something nice, even messaged me directly or whatever. Yeah, or maybe like, if you go there, this is another gallery on another site, which is called DeviantArt. This is, I think, the biggest site where you can share your art. So this is also the case when I write some captions for, my works, because I need to tell something about it. So, for example, let's take a look at this one, right? So, you see, this one is based on the real event, which depicts a very famous athlete, Michaela Schifrin, and her not downhill, but her, I think, giant slalom run. And I wrote a little caption about it here. Yes. So it's kind of like, it happened in Courchevel. And, I remember it because Michaela came from her personal drama in her life. So she came back to sports and she won this competition. So I was so impressed that I decided, okay, I need to, talk about this. And of course, I used English because, people would understand it. And also another very obvious example here. So, I want to ask a question to everyone right now. Guys, have you ever tried writing something like poems maybe, or short stories or whatever?
Me, if I was talking about me, like no, never. When it's necessary in lessons, like 2 times or 3 times, our teacher gave us task like this, like to write a poem and or create some new stories. Yes, and that's all.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and I was always interested in one thing. I always wanted to try writing something, because before I was writing like poems when I was younger. And then in 2018, when I was working at Lyceum, I thought, okay, I need to write. And the whole reason behind writing was, I had a lot of things that I saw. I had a lot of things to express. And, I came up with an idea of, writing a little, not a little, but let's say a short novel. So these are like two of them. The Life Next Door, this was, I think, my first trial of writing. And the next one is Catching a Star, which I consider to be, in my opinion, my most profound and most complete work, in my opinion. So because I wanted to express myself in writing, and I also wanted to challenge myself whether I will be able to write not just an academic essay, but something deeper, something, let's be honest, more meaningful. Yeah, because when it comes to fiction literature, of course, it has a lot of meaning. You have to read between the lines and use your style, use imagery, and the power of language to express yourself and your ideas. So The Life Next Door is like, the story which introduces you to the problem. And the problem is the search for happiness, right? And I think that for any person, happiness is quite a unique, criteria. It's like, you never know what happiness is until you ask a person, like, in a private conversation, like, are you happy? What is happiness for you? Every time it can be different. And the next, the Catching a Star is actually like a spiritual continuation of the previous novel. And this goes deeper because it's not just about happiness. It's about when person is already unhappy because he lost it, and now he doesn't even want to have it because he thinks that he doesn't deserve to be happy. This is a different level of unhappiness, if you will. And I used English language out of two reasons. First of all, there are maybe even not two, but three reasons. So the first one is I'm an English teacher, and I made one rule for myself when I was younger. When I started my job, not even when I started my job, I think it happened even earlier, that I will be using English everywhere. Like, no matter where I go, no matter what I do personally or just at work or for studies, I will be using English. Because I said to myself, okay, I need to create this atmosphere for myself, right? So if you look at my phone, for example, there is such an app which is called Keep Notes. I keep all my notes in English, reminders in English. I write everything in English, even my contacts. For example, if I save a contact, I don't know, maybe somebody who works somewhere, I will write this information in English, right? My computer OS right now, like Windows, also has English. Not talking about the phone itself. It helped a lot because I developed a habit of using English casually. That's what we need to do, guys. It's very important because it's not about learning more words. It's not about proficiency, maybe, to the level of taking an exam and getting 9 or something. No, it's about getting used to it so that you do not force yourself to do that later. It's like, sometimes you have noticed probably then that when you have a gap in your academic activity, when you know how to call it properly, if you didn't study basically for a long time, and then you want to do something, let's say prepare for an exam, then comes the problem because you cannot get used to this. Oh, I have to study like every day. But if you use English in your daily life, like every day outside the class, like, making it a part of your lifestyle, this becomes easier psychologically. So it helps a lot in psychological sense, if you will. So that's what I did. The next reason why I wrote those is because I wanted to say something to my readers. And also, I wanted to create a good story for my students back then. And they read it and they were quite impressed by the story, for which I'm very grateful, meaning that I could achieve an effect. Yes. And also, you see, it was about, I think it was about just practicing, maybe challenging myself, right? So yeah, these are probably the reasons. That's why, guys, you all have your hobbies, you all have your interests, and we need to introduce English language into those interests. And what is the best material, if not authentic material? Let me tell you something. You can even create material yourself. Like, you can write stuff, you can record something like a podcast or whatever. Yes. It just requires finding what you like and starting it, right? So, yeah, basically. That's what I wanted to share with you guys. And I hope that you will find your interest and you will start, using English, not just a means to, I don't know, as a means to enlarge your academic knowledge and skills, but also just, expand your outlook in general. So now, do you have any questions, guys?
Well, when you had a beginner level, maybe elementary level, have you started to add English in your life? Like, maybe you have changed your phone to English language or something else. How it
Uh,
started?
I think I think, it started quite strangely. I will tell how it started. So when I was studying at school, my English wasn't like perfect, of course, right? So I had some private classes and I improved a lot. It was, I think, the eighth grade, right? The eighth or seventh grade. But before that, of course, when you are at elementary level, when you are, let's say, 10 years or 12 years old, right? It was quite difficult before because you cannot find enough authentic material. When we were children, we didn't have a lot of this such content because there was no internet and there were no books even in English, right? So it was difficult. But today, in modern world, I think that if you have right guidance, even school children from the age of like, I don't know, even 6 or 7 can be introduced to some material like that. For instance, some cartoons, yes, appropriate for the age. And given the fact that you can find them on YouTube, for example, or other streaming services, it becomes quite easy, yes? So I think that now we have a lot of different, sources to get this chance. But as for my own, experience, I think that my first exposure to authentic material, like I showed you guys before, and material that I produce myself, it cannot be called material. Let's say some content, yes, in English, which is basically the synonym, but I like it better. So I think it started with, introduction to music. And I think I've told you already that story. But I will remind once again, when I was, I think, 10 or 12 years old, I accidentally, had a chance to listen to a rap song I think it was by Eminem. And I was impressed by his English so much. And of course, when it came to rappers from that period, they were very lyrical. They were very complex when it comes to their songs. I was so impressed that I wanted to listen more. And when I started listening, I understood that I didn't understand everything, but I enjoyed what I understood, right? And as I listened and listened, and simultaneously I was improving my English, I have noticed that I started to understand more and more. And it kind of got me excited because now I know that, okay, I can use English for that. Yes, I can use English for, listening these guys, understanding them, learning something from them. Not only just English language, but also the slang, different accents, and also cultural aspects, because rappers were talking about, their lives, their lifestyle, and of course, they introduced me to the cultural, references and stuff in the songs. So yeah, that's how it started. And that was the first exposure. And then later, when DVDs came, of course, there were movies that you could play in English, yes, in original. So you kind of set up an original soundtrack, not soundtrack, but let's say audio, channel, original one. And I really like it very much because, I was excited when I could listen to, characters, for example, from a cartoon as they are, right? Because originally voice actors recorded in English because they are English-speaking actors. All these movies are produced in the United States, let's say, right? When it comes to Pixar or DreamWorks or anything. So it was really exciting. It was challenging when I was a school student, but of course it became much easier with time when you get enough experience. So I think, yes, exposure is possible. And of course, now especially. And that is my story, basically, yes. Okay, guys,
Yeah,
now,
thank you, teacher.
yes,
It
yes.
was a really interesting history because even if you didn't have that much opportunities, you have tried a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because of my personal interest, yes. So that's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
I'm always telling people, yeah, if you find your personal interest which is related to English, and you can always find the reason, right? Then things will be, much easier and much more enjoyable. Yes. So, okay, guys, now let's share our own stories. Who would like to do that?
Good evening, everybody. I want to try.
Okay.
Well, I think like everybody knows me there, so I don't have to introduce myself.
Okay.
Like I want to talk like how I connected my life with English, like overall. I would say that like English was always only like inside the university or inside the learning center when I was learning it, like several months ago, even I would say. But after some time, I realized that like only studying, only speaking English inside the buildings for like several hours doesn't really help. But you should truly like immerse yourself into English to get like proficiency level, I would say. And
Mm-hmm.
currently, like after watched like several people who are already in a really advanced level from YouTube. For instance, I really like watching podcasts, interviews of Uzbek people or international students who are learning English. And every time when they mentioned like how they like um, learned English, they always say like I immersed myself into English. And after searching up, I realized that this means that your environment should be in English, like starting from your like phone settings, ending with your like night good night with your friend. But like yeah, it might be like somehow impossible to talk with all your friends in English, because our second language in Uzbekistan in Russian, not English, but it may be possible in some countries like maybe India or other English related countries, but in our country it's kind of somehow impossible. So I decided to make it somehow convenient for myself as well, and I've changed my settings from my phone into English, and I started using some applications where I can talk with international students or just English people around the world. There are a lot of applications. And for example, I have like one um, application app where I can talk with people who like to listen to artists like me, like
Mm-hmm.
fandom website, I would say. Like there are like 20 something million, no, 70 something million people there, and like most of them, 95% of them talk in English. So
Mm-hmm.
I found a really great opportunity for myself to talk with them, like maybe like not to talk like through the phone like directly, but still like chatting with them, talking like in English slangs. And I would say that I've learned a lot of like new words, new phrases, and slangs from them. So I found like immersing technique really, really handy. So yeah, like still, I would recommend to everyone to do kind of things for yourself to learn English better. So yeah, this is my kind of story.
Okay, Saliha, thank you so much for sharing that. And I think that it's great that you connected, especially in academic sense, because, it's not just about using English for like the hobbies, for example. Yes, it's also about using English for really academic purposes. And even
Yeah.
here we can find, some ways to incorporate English in our daily life by talking to, students overseas, etc. And yes, there is one moment which we need to pay attention to, right? When it comes to English, using English outside the class, of course, is easier when we talk about countries in which English is the second language, right?
Yeah.
Like India, right? Yes, because it's something that people were, used to see and hear and speak, from the very beginning of their lives. So it's already integrated into the country's like lifestyle, right? But I think, that right now the situation is a little bit different. I think that English has become somewhat an international language, and it's used everywhere. But it's also a matter of how often you use it, for what purpose, and how widespread it is. I think that I have been researching and just paying attention to something. I think that in our country, students are much actually better at speaking English, and even those people who do not have this language as their primary major, right? They still sometimes do speak, at least at B1 or B2 level, basically, right? Sometimes A2 level, but they still do speak. And we have much more students who speak English, for example, compared to other countries. And that makes me really happy because it shows the interest in English. And also, it shows that they really, really want to master it. Yes, and it's very good to master any language, no matter what it is, because, as one person said, the more languages you know, the better, because, you learn the culture, you can exchange your culture with somebody else, right, from another country, exchanging, your cultural experiences, etc. You can communicate with anyone, everywhere, yeah, and also introducing your own language to other people all around the world. That's an awesome opportunity, because we always think, okay, we know English, but what can we do about it? What we can do is really awesome. You can teach, for example, Uzbek language to some other people from other countries using English, right? That's great.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's why I think, today it's a matter of, in my opinion, it's a matter of, personal investment, in my opinion, yes. Like countries where English is the second language, yes. For students there, yes, it's much easier. But a lot depends on your personal effort, right? For example, let's imagine a student from a country where English is the second language, let's say India. Yes, a student from India is learning English and he doesn't like learning in general, so he fails at English as well, so despite the fact that he lives in a country where English is well known, right? And at the same time, a student from, let's say, yes, for example, here from Uzbekistan or from China or from other country, tries do his best, has good teachers, and invests a lot of himself into the process of learning, watches YouTube videos, listens to podcasts, chats with, international students, etc., goes to tuition, has some classes, and he succeeds much more than the student in, let's say, the country where English is the second language. So it, I think, depends a lot on your personal effort and your personal interest and passion, right? So now,
Definitely.
so now, guys, anyone else who would like to share your story?
Well, yes, I want to add something about your course before. You said that
Okay.
interest is really important. Yes, I agree with that because when I was studying and when I was preparing for IELTS, in first exam I got 4.5, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, approximately 4 or 4.5 from speaking. But in this time, I wasn't
Okay.
interested in English. I was just preparing for it. I was just learning some speaking text, like answers. But I wasn't interested in speaking at all in English. But
Okay.
after I got 4.5, I set a goal that I will improve my speaking. And after that, I started to listen English music. I started to watch some cartoons in English, some movies, and I started to have an interest in English.
Mm-hmm.
So I really agree with you that a person have to have a goal, first of all, an interest, effort. So after that, this person can improve his or her English. And second reason why I have improved my English, speaking, I I had some practice with my friends. Like I had friends who can speak in English, and I think it's really important to have some friends who can speak in English, or some maybe classmates, maybe group mates, that you can improve your language skills with them, like together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So, Mubarak, may I ask you something? But before I ask you, I want to share my story. You will be surprised, guys. But uh, when I was studying at school, I also didn't like English. And that's why I didn't know it very well at that moment, when I was like seventh grade, eighth grade, because I didn't enjoy how it sounds, I didn't enjoy the words, etc. And partially it was because I only knew English from one side, which was about grammar and all those textbooks that we had at school. And, for some learners, sometimes it feels a little bit boring because it can be very overwhelming, especially for a teenager, right? And I think maybe you also have experienced that feeling when you see all those rules, when you see all those words and phrases and idioms, etc. And you ask yourself, why do I need that, right? Like, I don't need it, I don't like it, etc. So yeah, that was my case. I didn't enjoy English because I didn't see all of it. I only saw a part of it, which was this that I told you, right? But it changed a lot when I first heard, English music. And not only just pop music or anything. When I heard rappers rapping, I was like, wow, English can be cool. English is different. English is just, so beautiful because it was so different pronunciation and style and words that they used. So, I thought to myself, okay, now I'm interested in that because I see another side of English. So, the music itself, rap music in particular, it opened me a completely different English. And you know what's crazy? What's the craziest part is that it's the same language, but it's just used differently. So, and you see it from the different angle and you ask yourself, okay, maybe there are some other sides that I will also find attractive, and that's how later I discovered British accent and, all those, wonderful TV shows, British TV shows. So yeah, that's how I liked English. I started to like. What about you, Mubarak? What is your story? First of all, I wanted to ask you, what is the reason why you didn't want to speak English? And, if there is any particular reason for it, could you please share it?
As you said, I hated some grammars, like to write in English, to learn some new grammars or something like that. But
So,
however, my friends can speak in English, like they were speaking in it, and like they watched some movies in English, and they were discussion. They had discussion about it. And I'm really big fan of Billie Eilish songs. So I listened a lot Billie Eilish songs. So after learning English, after improving my skills in English, I started to understand her um, songs or her music. So yeah, it has inspired to learn English. She
Oh,
has. Yeah.
okay. So your story is similar to mine, actually, right? In the sense that,
Yeah.
first we see only grammar, we see all those rules, and they sometimes avert us from learning it. But once we become fans of something, when we start to be interested in something, when we see other people using English, and you see again, guys, it's about using authentic materials, right? People watch movies, discuss it, right? So people
Yes.
listen to music. Yeah.
Yes. But also, the main reason why I started to learn English, it's my friends. All my best friends could speak in English, but I couldn't. So I started to learn English. I was interested in English because of my friends. And after that, I started to listen Billie Eilish songs. So, yeah.
That's very good to hear because, yeah, sometimes our friends really motivate us. Yes, absolutely. I didn't have this luxury, I think, because, having friends is somehow a luxury, I think, today even. So I'm very happy, Mubarak, that you have such good friends. Yes, who can support you and who can motivate you. Yes, maybe indirectly even, but they can motivate. That's very, very pleasant to hear. Yeah, so, when I was studying at school, I cannot say that I had friends. I mean, like I had friends before, but when I started to prepare for university, I kind of distanced myself from everyone because it kind of was distracting, and I was focused on my studying more, But I do remember that at that moment I listened to so much music every day that it kind of became a habit, and yeah, I mean, like the journey in learning English outside the class is really interesting, is really personal, but it always leads to one thing. It helps us in our academic achievements when it comes to English language in particular, right? Okay, thank you so much for sharing your story. And now let's move on. Who else wants to add anything or share your experience? Anyone, guys?
Um, Maybe I already
Yes.
said
Yes,
about
Malika,
it.
thank you so much for
And
sharing your story and your, experience. And let's make a conclusion then, right now about our today's meeting. So, first of all, I think that we need to develop a strategy in terms of being more interested in English besides the class. And of course, you all do have your hobbies, yes? You all do have your own interests, and that's the gate, the gateway, if you will, right, to introducing those hobbies into the world of English. As you have seen previously, I have shown you my websites. Yes, I was fond of drawing, so I used English to share my drawings, not to show them off, right? I just shared them online because maybe some people will be inspired. And of course, I use English because I want international audience to understand me better, right? So, you may be fond of, crafts, probably, right? I know that, Malika, you do some crafts. Yes, you have shown us during the previous, I think, self-study or something, right?
yes.
Yeah, so you can actually share your works somewhere on Telegram, and besides using like Uzbek language and Russian language, you can also include English into that process. And let me show you something as a bonus content, which will be very surprising, guys. So here we have this small figure, right, of Rukia from Bleach. Yes, the anime Bleach. So this is like the figure. It's my favorite figure, actually. You know, it's very good. It's very like impressive, etc. By Sega, right? So how can this be connected to English? I will tell you how. When I was unboxing that, I made a video. And I regret one thing, that I didn't comment on my unboxing. I should have. You know, you can like, you know, make a video about that and share your impressions, like, you know, whether you like it or not, analyze it, like unboxing and review videos, right? And I started doing that, which with each and every figure that I have. For example, like I have this Inuyasha, right? So, you know, yeah. So, and, you know, I also should have like recorded something about Inuyasha. So, but I have some videos on my YouTube channel unboxing, in which, of course, I use English language. And let me tell you something, guys. It wasn't about even like using the language anymore. You know, it was just a habit. I discovered something which is, you probably may find a little bit strange, but I will tell you something. I found out that for me, somehow, after some time, when I was using English so much, I was kind of forcing it even. I discovered that for me, it's much easier to use English language when I talk about stuff rather than any other language. For example, like Russian language, yes? Like Russian is my native language, but I kind of feel much more comfortable using English. And you know, there is a reason for it. The reason is because I kind of developed this habit of using only this one in my hobbies and my free time. And also, it's also objective. There is an objective reason. English language is very precise. You know, for example, other languages, they have a lot of different meaning. So multiple meaning, for example, they are more artistic. They have a wide range of things that you say. For example, like you can say one word in one language, it can mean a lot. But in English, most of the time, one word means one thing, yes? Or maybe some similar thing, but not completely different. And that makes English very precise, very strict, and the structure of it is also strict. So that's why, for me, it's kind of like it kind of like started to be more comfortable because I could express myself clearly, right? So yeah, you know, that's what I felt about it. Yes. So that's why, guys, just start doing that. And believe me, you will see the effect. Maybe not immediately, but you will have an effect. You will see this. You will see that you enjoy your studies more. You will see that now English is not just a subject. Now English is a part of your life. And it already is. But you know, the problem is it's like a job. Yes, let's imagine, guys. People usually are supposed to like their jobs. But sometimes we don't want to do that because we are old people, we are tired, we sometimes can be lazy, right? We can sometimes be depressed or have our personal problems. And job becomes a little bit more difficult to do, no matter what it is, right? You can work as a businessman or as a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher or anyone else. And sometimes the job doesn't give you happiness, doesn't give you, you know, like, not satisfaction, but let's say it doesn't motivate you at some moment, yes, when you have a problem. It disappears after some time, which is great. And you started feeling, okay, I like my job. Yes. But you know what? It's much easier when English is not your job, but when it's your lifestyle, right? So English becomes not a job, right? Because, you know, study is also a job, basically. So it becomes not just a job. It becomes your hobby, your passion, you know, something that you do outside your job, right? It's much more enjoyable. And when you do this, if you try this, that's what it is. That's what it becomes. So yeah, I suggest you doing something like that. Yeah, finding some motivation behind, not behind, but beyond, you know, studies only. Yes.
Yeah,
So,
that's
well,
true.
yeah, so good luck in that. And it's not very difficult. So I wish you luck. And now, anyone else who would like to say anything? Anyone? No? Okay. So let's make a conclusion then. We have met today. That's awesome. So the recording of that meeting will be available soon, probably. And thank you so much, guys, everyone, for joining us, listening, and sharing your stories. And let's not forget that on Tuesday at 11 a.m. At our faculty, we will meet offline, right? So I will tell you the room, because on Monday I will ask our deputy dean about that, and we are gonna meet. And during this meeting, we are gonna, do some fun activities dedicated to English in sports. Yes, so we will be working on that topic. We will be watching something, listening to something, playing something, practicing something, having some fun. So let's look forward to it. And okay, guys. So see you later then. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
See you, see you, see you.
Yeah, see you tomorrow. We have a
Okay. See
class
you.
on.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Have a good evening.
Okay.
Okay.